This is a case study of a confusing student in my class who I will call Carter. She's a 6-year-old first grader who moved to China from Ohio in October of this year. So she came a couple of months late to our class, and she had completed kindergarten in Ohio. Her dad works for Ford, which a few of the fathers in our first grade do. Her mom stays home with twin younger sisters, age 4. Here are some of the problems that Carter has. I'll start with the behavioral ones. She has a disheveled appearance, which wouldn't strike me as strange, but you can't see her face, and she often has inadequate clothing. In the winter, she was wearing really thin leggings that were too short and had holes in them. There was a day when she didn't have her coat, and I had to email her parents and request that she wear a coat so she could go to recess. And they wrote back and asked me what kind of coat would be appropriate. So that's just the kind of thing that goes on with her appearance. She engages in what I have termed playful turn hurtful behavior. Some examples of this are that she spit in a student's eye one day when playing with her. And when I talked to her about it, she said that she wanted to play and the other student wasn't doing exactly what she wanted, so she spit. There was another day when she allegedly bit her best friend. It was never reported by the friend, so I don't know, but the mother told me a couple of months later that this might have happened. There was a day on the playground when she was a bystander to some bullying. So one student was giving another girl a snake bite, when you twist students' skin. So Carter was standing and watching as the girl was crying and the two other girls were laughing. So they got, obviously, a lot of talking to about this. But it's just these series of incidences. She wants to play, but she doesn't know how to play. And it's gotten to the point where other mothers complain about her by name to the counselor. She's a slow starter. She actually missed the bus one day and therefore an entire day of school because she was too slow. She has no water bottle. And this sounds like a tiny complaint, but in our school, the water bottle is something every student has. They take with them everywhere they go. The students ask each other before we leave the classroom, did you get your water bottle? We have a huge Teen Green push going on, and we've sold the water bottles for charity, all kinds of things going on with the water bottle. So she consistently doesn't have one and has to get cups out of our cupboards every day. And when I asked her about it, she said, my mom doesn't know where to buy a water bottle. Her academic problems. I'll start with some background about my class. I came into the class in December after the original teacher, Miss Josie, had her baby. So there is an element of Carter came in October and then had a teacher change in December. My class is also half English language learners who started out the year with 0 English. So when I say that, my point is that there's a lot of extra instruction that goes into comprehension of assignments and lessons and standards. So Carter pays attention in class. She can play like any first grader can, but she comes back when I ask her to. So she makes very puzzling academic errors, given that she pays attention. And she understands when you ask her what she's doing, but her work results don't match the verbal understanding that she seems to convey. Here is some example from math. She does well, again, during in-class assignments, but had poor performance on the last 2 exams, actually getting the lowest score in the class, which matched our ADHD student. For the exam before that, she was unable to complete it in the time that every other student completed it and needed to go into another classroom and miss a special in order to complete it. So that was fine. It was sad that she missed the special, and the puzzling part is that my ADHD student was able to complete it and the English language learners were able to complete it, but she wasn't for some strange reason. So here is the most recent math test. You can see on here that she got a 7 out of 12, And so I discussed it with her afterwards to find out what the problem was. These are the words that she had trouble reading back to me. And this is puzzling because she was able to use the words during the lessons, and she was able to read them to do the in-class assignments leading up to the test. She was able to read the words back to me after she completed her in-class assignments. And during the test, the TA and I walked around the classroom helping anybody who needed any help with words, but she did not identify herself as someone who needed help. I read some of the words out loud with students to make sure that they knew them. And she usually identifies herself if she needs extra help. So it's very strange. Here's an example of a project we did in our interdisciplinary unit on stories. As you can see, this was intended to be kind of a timeline of a journey that the students went on. It says, my journey. So they write the beginning and they write the end, and then they try to draw or write what happens in the middle. And after I modeled it, all the other students went off to do it, and you can see here that she chose the wrong topic and decided to write about the ugly duckling's journey. Again, I could understand this, especially if any of the English language learners made the same error, but none of them did. In writing, she loves to write. She keeps a journal, and she writes every day on the bus, and she draws pictures, and it's just something she does in her spare time. So here's a sample. After 6 weeks of a writing unit on review writing, and after a week of review, when we talked about the key elements of review writing, which is that you give an opinion and you back it up with reasons. About my vacation off school. Off school, I went to a restaurant, and my favorite part is eating my yummy pizza because it was only cheese, and I love cheese. At the restaurant, I waited for Dad because I can do my thingy with Dad, because I always do the thingy off school with Mom. I eat with Mom always, I play with Mom always, and we eat together always. So you can see from these 4 pages that she fails to include an opinion and reasons. She also fails to apply phonics, and she doesn't use any of the classroom tools and charts that we have, even though the students are encouraged to talk to their partners, stand up, go walk around the classroom, find the charts they need, find the words they need. You can see that she's not doing it. This is in comparison to the average student. So the sample you're going to see is actually an English language learner who didn't speak any English at the beginning of the year, but has been able to produce English at this point in the year. He is very average in the class. Did you ever play Lego trains? You can look at this book to learn about Lego trains. Do you want to play Lego train? Lego train was the best Lego because it has power function to make the train go. Lego train was the best Lego because the train can on the track. Oh, train can go on the track. Lego trains are the best because they have wheels and they can go. So you can see here that this student was able to include an opinion and reasons, and also gave a conclusion at the end, which was something I taught but wasn't expecting. So I was able to fix her opinion writing problem this week in the 8th week of the unit by having her sit directly next to the organization chart and reading it as she wrote. But prior to that, even with one-on-one conversations with myself and a checklist and a week of review for the entire class, she was unable to produce it. In reading, she's reading below grade level. She's at a level D, which matches about half of the ESOL students, or are D or below her. What's really interesting about this is that she read an F book to me one day without any problems and was able even to sound out some words that she had never seen before and didn't have pictures to match. She read the ooh-ah, ooh-ah, ooh-ah. But then the next day, she couldn't read a word that we had just learned in our spelling class. It was something like sounded. We were doing an ow sound. And we just learned how to make it, and she couldn't read it. So she goes back and forth, and it's very confusing. She fails to apply the phonics that we have learned this year. We actually did Jolly Phonics program. She fails to apply any of the reading strategies, and we have charts up in the classroom, and we've been practicing. She fails to use the reading tools that I've given her and that I've taught her and that I've worked with her one-on-one on. She just gets stuck and stops. And our last reading unit was actually based on when you see a word you don't know, you stop and you try something, and we have about 10 different strategies that they can try and they've practiced trying. Former teacher, Miss Josie, said that she reminds her of students she used to teach in the ghetto in the Bronx, New York City. And the TA said maybe she has a switch, like sometimes I'm smart, sometimes I'm not. So she's confusing to most of the teachers in her school. The actions that we have already taken are that we met with her parents. We met with her parents about behavior, so we did behavior sheets and then talked about how to improve it. And after the meeting, her behavior improved drastically. So we've had conversations about it. She gets lots of praise for positive behavior. I've given her extra time on assignments when necessary. We give her lots of one-on-one assistance. And what's interesting about this is that she always improves when she's given one-on-one assistance. We did a Jolly Phonics camp. So we took the students who needed to review Jolly Phonics and we set them in 5 groups between the kindergarten and the first grade. And every morning for 20 minutes, they did a review session. And all the students who were part of it have improved significantly. But Carter doesn't apply it when she reads and writes. We have Raz Kids available. It's a program that they can do online at home. And her mother has said that the internet at home is not good enough to use that, so they can't use it. And it would be great because it's leveled reading books. We do a lot of partnerships in our class, so I've given her a partner who is above her level so she could learn, and a partner below her level so that she could try teaching. And I've reviewed entire lessons, entire units with herself and the whole class to see if she would get it. At this point, her remaining need is, I would say, reading. It seems that she is struggling with reading in the math, on the math test, and she's struggling with reading in reading and writing. I don't know if it affected the interdisciplinary work or if there's something else. So at this point in the year, I have committed to reading with her daily in the morning, one-on-one. And I'm actually changing our entire class structure for the last few weeks of school so that we're not doing writing as much. We're doing 1 or 2 writing lessons a week, and it's going to be a free choice kind of writing. And I'm going to focus more on reading and get the groups more and just do more and more reading practice, especially with the strategies. But I don't really know what else I can do this year, and I'm wondering if it's something that if we just wait, maybe she will mature over the summer and be ready to go for 2nd grade, or do I need to recommend to her parents that we get a reading specialist over the summer? And in doing so, the kindergarten teachers I spoke to were concerned that a reading specialist wouldn't have the Jolly Phonics background and would then confuse her. So I'm kind of at a loss of what to do and if I need to do anything, and I would love to hear your thoughts.